Hmm. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thank you. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna fit these little, whatever these are. Hmm. So far, so good. Thanks. Wondering. Let me see. I can save some space by going back. Rotating. Yeah, I think I might rotate. No, 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 no. That's not right. How does Bruce Timm do her eyes? This comes back more. This is thicker. She doesn't quite look psychotic enough. It's going pretty good. This is the most relaxing part of the day for me. Finally get to sit down and get some real work done. I haven't been working very much lately. Just watching the kids mostly. But everyone's doing well. Okay, I gotta get that. Okay, that's starting to look better. Nose comes in a little bit. Oh yeah, I just added a bunch of new prints. Well, not like a huge amount. I think I did six new prints. I had to change the pricing though. So the prices all went up, but the shipping went down. Because I realized when I was calculating sales tax, I wasn't charging enough. And so July 31st comes around, you gotta do your sales tax return. And I always end up owing more, more money than people paid in. And it's just because I was charging more for shipping just to make things easier for myself. And also to offset the cost of all the shipping supplies, the tubes, the heavy duty tubes and all that. But then I ended up losing all that money because I had to pay it into the state of California. Not all that money. I paid in an extra like $260. But I could use that money to buy Legos. Or alcohol. I'm having a Kentucky Mule right now. Most difficult character you have drawn. Oh, I hate drawing Star-Lord. I think I've mentioned that before. I don't mind him as a character, but man, I hate drawing him. And that, any version, comic book version, movie version, all of it's no fun. That being said, I do have a little Chris Pratt head that I got off eBay. I just use this for general reference since he's got a good looking mug. Although I think in the Hot Toys, I'm pretty sure this is from Hot Toys. It's a bootleg, I'm sure. But I think they thinned him out a little bit. Anyway, I use it a lot for reference. Yeah, it's not just that the Star-Lord mask is detailed. It's like I can handle detail, but I need it to be detail that I can remember without looking at the reference like every 3 seconds. Like there's just no way I can draw it without just having a picture of it right in front of me at all times. And even then, it's just not easy. All right, Harley, where's your light coming from? The black is on. Black is on her left. I should rough this out more before I start drawing, or shading rather. Yeah, I used to sculpt heads. I still have a bunch of them, but I haven't done it in a while just because uh, I can get way better sculpts off of eBay. And doesn't take me any time. Part of me does, always wants to go back and do that. I did start sculpting a baby Yoda, but I just haven't found time to finish it, which is always the case. Sculpting just takes a long time. And, to do the level of sculpting that they do on the Hot Toys, the 1/6 scale heads, I mean, that takes an amount of time that scares even me. And I'm super slow. I think I follow a few of the sculptors on Instagram because their work is phenomenal. But I think the one girl said she was doing a Joker portrait, Joaquin Phoenix, and I think she said it took her like 14 weeks. So we're talking months and months just working on one single head, and the final product is amazing, but for what I need, it's not worth the time. I don't even know if it's my style, although part of me is probably just says that because I might not be able to do that level of detail myself, as in a lack of skill. But I don't know, those guys, they really know their stuff. Because it's not just that they're sculpting, a head, which I've done before. It's just that they're doing likenesses of, very, very famous actors, where everyone knows what they look like, and if you make a wrong move, on a tolerance scale of less than a millimeter, everyone's going to know. And they're just using the same stuff I use, Super Sculpey. Oh, is that my cousin? Is that Joey? What's up, man? You probably don't go by Joey anymore. What's up, man? Nice to see you here. Have I thought about drawing Punchline? What is Punchline? But the sculptors I follow on Instagram, the only one I can remember offhand, her last name is Kim, and the guy, I want to say it was like JC Hong. Oh, Joker's new Harley Quinn? No, I haven't drawn. I'm not even familiar with her. But the Hot Toys crew, like if you just follow Hot Toys, they will occasionally post who the sculptors are. That's how I found them all. I think Hot Toys is out of Hong Kong. And man, they've got an amazing stable of, I don't know if they're freelance or what. However they get paid, they do amazing work. I own one Hot Toys, and it's of Ripley from Alien, the first movie. I collect 1/12 scale MCU figures. Oh yeah, SH Figure Arts. Yeah, I have some of their. I think I have one of like their mannequins, not like the branded stuff, but just for drawing. Reference that kind of thing. All right, how many things does Harley Quinn have around her neck? She has 3. And then the kind of go over her shoulder. Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that. Then they did the Spidey Homecoming. I'm a big fan of that version of Spidey. Yeah, I was pretty sad when they did that scare where they weren't gonna, when Disney and Sony couldn't come to an agreement. I'm glad they got that cleared up, because I definitely want at least one more Spidey movie in the MCU. All right, I think that's gonna work. I'm having to tilt her head. How big are the little, I guess they're cotton balls, I don't know. Oh, thanks, Steve. Glad I could help. Yeah, actually, I wanted to show you guys. I got a new Pentel ink pen, or brush pen. I haven't put in the cartridge yet, so you can see this is what the nylon tip looks like. Let me see if I can get to focus. That's what the nylon tip looks like before you saturate it with ink. But I really like this design. They have a whole new line of them, and they have all like custom designs. This was given to me by Chris Kohler, who works for Pentel. I think he does like their box art, so he has a bunch, and was kind enough to give me a bunch. All right, I'm going to switch to a smaller pen. This is the Stadler. It's in German, I think. Stadler. I don't know how to say it. Don't listen to me. But it's a harder pencil, lead, and a thinner diameter, 0.5 millimeters instead of 0.7. I usually start things out with 0.7. But especially in the eyes, I really got to tighten things up. Because that's kind of where everybody ends up looking. And she's got blue eyes, so I got dark eyes no matter what. So make sure that I leave space for color. She still doesn't look psychotic enough. But maybe this is the new Harley Quinn. What kind of pencil is this? This one is the Staedtler. God, I don't know. I get it all from Jet Pens. So if you just look up Staedtler. I actually like this one better. The Faber-Castell. Maybe it's also German. The TK Fine Vario. I don't know. But I like this one the best because it has my favorite eraser, which is adjustable. At least it was adjustable. There we go. So you can pop that out. You know, usually they're just kind of like it's stuck on there like this, and you just kind of pinch it, and then you have to replace it, or you have to pull it out. This one, you just rotate it and you get more eraser, which is the best. So if I didn't already have this, I would probably get another one of these in a 0.5 millimeter instead of 0.7. They have a thing where you can rotate or adjust whether it's a soft feel or a hard feel, which just means that the tip will have some give, but I keep it on hard. I don't like the grip, so I just put tape on it, and that feels a lot better. Yeah, Jet Pens is great and dangerous. That is true. They know how to get you because they're always like, free shipping if you spend $35. And you're like, I have $35. I'll bet I could find other things that I like. And guess what? I always can. So everything that I buy, I always get like 5 erasers, needed erasers, and I'm like, okay, there's $5. And I do use them, but the last order I got from them was markers for my daughter, and they're actually pretty cool. They were, was it Pentel? But the line is called Friction, Frixion, and they are erasable markers. And my daughter loves them because they just, it just looks like a regular marker, and you never think it erases, but it has something to do with the friction creates heat, and then the heat makes the ink disappear. And I think we haven't tried it yet, or at least we haven't done it successfully, but supposedly you can reactivate it by putting it in the fridge, cooling it down. Yeah, so the ink doesn't actually come out of the paper. It just becomes transparent, turns into invisible ink. Alright, I am just tightening up. I want to bring up her lower lid, really make her look like she's having a little bit more fun. This area always gets me because there's just like a lot of different things you have to get just right for the overlap, and you want part of the face to fall away, but you want the eyelashes to come forward, and I don't know. We'll see. Fix it in post. All right. Does she have dimples? What if I give her dimples? What do you guys think? I don't see Bruce Timm drawing her with dimples. And he's pretty much who I always go to for Harley. She looks weird to me when anyone else draws her. Alright, so light's coming from here. It's going to be a highlight up here. Highlight here. Like if you imagine light coming down in this cylinder, boom, it's gonna just hit all of these areas. I mean, I'm not a computer program, so I'm not showing you exactly where it's gonna do the damage, but I just need a rough guesstimate just so it looks, fairly correct. And ultimately, my goal is to define the form. So if I can cheat a little bit with the shadow or the highlight to really sell something, that's fine with me. No dimples, but her cheeks are contoured. All right, I'll take out the dimple. Thanks, Joey. Joey, where are you? Are you still in California? I never thought I'd end up here when I was a kid, but it's where I am now. But it's a big state. In the desert stuff. Yeah, yeah. I'm not in the desert part of California. Although you don't have to go far. We're about 30 minutes south of San Francisco. Okay, I think I've done enough. I'm just kind of redrawing my own lines. Okay, so let's ink. I'm gonna use my kneaded eraser, which I buy tons of from Jet Pens. They do not sponsor me, by the way. I just have a problem. And so I'm going to turn this into a little cylinder and then lighten everything up. This just helps me see the ink a little bit better. And, sometimes I let the pencil show through, and other times I don't. I'm not happy with that cheek. I'm going to bring her lids down a little bit. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I feel like her expression it finally feels right. That's the problem with faces. It's why they're so hard, because just the tiniest difference. One little line, change it all. Nose looks too thin to me. Is this a watercolor sketch card? Yeah. This will be sold at Mainframe Comic Con, which is another online show that we're going to be doing since we can't do any real shows. And I don't know what all the details are, but if you just search for Mainframe Comic Con, it's pretty easy to find. And I will be there kind of doing what I'm doing now on August 15th at, I want to say, noon Eastern time. Double check, because I can't remember exactly where I'm going to be, but my art dealer will be handling all the sales, and that's where stuff like this can be bought. I already did a couple, which you guys can see. I did a Venom. Almost lost my magnets there. Yeah, so I did a Venom. Oh, he looks a lot bigger. And then I did a Spider-Ham, which I already posted earlier. So, thanks. Hi, Rick. Steve, what does Steve say? Do you always use reference for drawings, or do you remember where everything should go? I use reference pretty often. The only people that I don't use reference for are like Spidey, Venom, Cap, Daredevil. Anyone who I've drawn a comic of. Like, once you draw a comic of someone, except maybe Star-Lord, but maybe even then you don't really need reference anymore. At least I don't. But I still, I'll still use reference for like poses, that kind of thing. Actually, let me check her in the mirror to make sure that nothing bothers me. this to come up. I want this to come down. And maybe, no, that could stay. Maybe this, yep, this needs to come down. Yeah, before I ink anything, I always check it in the mirror. And then this is an easy way to look at your own work with a fresh set of eyes. And it's weird, there's always something you catch. Even when you've been doing this for almost 20 years now. Yeah, this will be, I've been a professional for 18 years this year. Yeah, 18 years last month, I believe. I'll bring in her neck as well. Checking. Bring that smile up. And then I'll add some shadow. And then this needs to come in. And then let's see. This, well, I guess. Yeah. Spectacular Spider-Man number 14, that's correct. That was my very first, well, it wasn't my first work for them. Technically, my first work was Iron Man number 63. It was a cover, which I was kind of surprised about at the time. They gave me cover work first, but I guess they wanted to just see if I could hit a deadline. And I think I did. And then they gave me an 11-page story with Dr. Doom by Christopher Priest called Masks. And I did that. I think that came out first. Yeah, I think that came out first, and then Iron Man, and then the Spidey was my third project, I guess. I'm gonna take a sip, pardon me, guys. Gotta have some bourbon. That's good. I even got myself some maraschino cherries. Okay, let's ink. All right, a brush pen. I got the pink version because I gave the black version to my mom. And I guess we'll just start. Apologies in advance if you can hear my breathing. My face is right by the phone. Do I do mentorships? So far, only with my children. As I'm sure my daughter can tell you. Ooh. I like my custom desk setup is amazing, but it's not tied into the wall as it should be. And so if I press against it too hard, it really starts to wobble. And most of the time I'm good at not hitting it, but every once in a while I forget. Who's your favorite modern comic artist? Oh, there are too many, dude. I'll tell you, let's see, whom am I most impressed with lately? The last few years, I've really enjoyed Tanchi Zanic, his work. Just like everything that he's done. Like I first noticed his work on the Hellboy universe, so BPRD, and specifically Lobster Johnson. Just solid, just all around great artist. But yeah, there's just tons. I mean, there's so many now that I can't even keep up. It's kind of why I've mentioned this before, but I love Instagram and Twitter because it's like, you think you know everybody, and then they'll have like portfolio day, and you'll discover someone who has like a significant, huge worldwide following, and you've literally never heard of them or seen their artwork ever. And then, it still happens to me. Even though, I've been on Twitter since 2009, I think. Instagram, not as long. I've done better on Instagram. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm always curious about that because I'll see people who have a massive following on one platform and then just like kind of nothing, like crickets on another, and I have no idea why that is. And I don't think it's necessarily because they're ignoring one or the other. It's just the vicissitudes of that particular platform. All right, now to decide what to do with that map. I guess I should do the eye first. You'll notice I don't breathe when I'm doing eyes or anything with great detail. Like I just stop breathing. Fortunately, I start again. Oh, from Austria. Hello. I'm not even going to try your name. Let's see. DD or Spidey? I don't know. It's a trick question. I like them both. I've drawn them both. Oh. Thanks. Oh, I can hear my son upstairs. His room is right above me. He's kicking around. He should be asleep. Let's see. So now I'm the part where I'm just winging it. I'm always winging it. I just mean, there's always a part in a piece where you think you know what you're doing and you're not quite sure, but you just kind of got to do it. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't, just try and remember what you did for next time. Obviously, I'm avoiding the eyes. I'm going to switch to my super small. This is a Copic multiliner SP, the 0.2 millimeter. I don't think I'm even going to do pupils. I'll just trust in Bruce Timm. It always looks right when he does it. Okay, good enough. All right. And just so you guys know, I'm on a metal board that has craft paper on top of it, and then these are my magnets. And all of my pencils have magnets on them as well. So I just set it there, even though I'm drawing it like a 45-degree angle, a little more. It's pretty steep. You know, if you want to be comfortable while drawing, the board really has to be as close to vertical as is comfortable. Because you don't want to be hunched over, especially if you're doing this 8 hours a day, which I haven't done in a while, but that's like the minimum you need. Usually it's 14. DC or Marvel? Well, I've done way more Marvel stuff. I like DC stuff, but we can never get our schedules right. They have asked over and over again, and it's always been my fault. I don't have the time. What was the last question? Do you collect action figures of any sort? I always want to, but I don't, because it's a slippery slope. What I do collect are 1/6 scale weapons. Because they take up less room. I do have some action figures. And they, actually, this one right here. So this is, I don't know if you guys recognize it, it's the Captain America from the, what line was it? It was from the 90s, and I never had Cap, but I had Spidey and everybody else. And I just did a story for Marvel where this particular action figure shows up in the story, which is kind of fun. And so I used it as an excuse to buy that action figure. The ones I always had, I had Spidey, I had Doc Ock, I had Doctor Doom, and I think I had Punisher. Kind of an odd assortment. And then I would play with them on my Ghostbusters firehouse, like the big play set. All right, just adding some dry brush. And I just do that by dragging it, because there's a cartridge of ink inside the Pentel brush pen. So if you're going to do dry brush, you really got to work it. Might end up whitening that out some. What's always tough with with characters who have like a solid black part of their costume, if you ink it first, like if you do line inks and then you go back and fill it all in, it plays tricks with you because it looks like, because the line becomes part of the black, solid color, it can often look like the black part goes too far because the line essentially thickens it. So just something to watch out for. All right, is that good? Maybe I'll make this a little thicker. You know what I should have done? Yeah, that's what I should have done. Oh well, nobody will miss it. I should have left this not black so that I could make the lines on all the white parts of a costume do a color hold and just make it with like a light blue. Oh, and I want to do a mask too. You know what? I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to watercolor it and then decide what I'm going to do. I'm too scared. And I need a sip. Well, I need to let it dry. Just a second. Just a touch. And I need to have a sip of bourbon. Let's see. Spidey, yeah, it was the Spidey with the suction cup hands, and I painted that in the story as well. Kenner, I don't know if Kenner made them. I can't remember who it was. It could have been. Oh, Toy Biz. Yeah, I think it was Toy Biz because weren't they part of Marvel or something? Let's see. Yeah, the Ghostbuster Firehouse Station was awesome. I think I had Ecto one as well. Yeah. So it's the Marvel Snapshots project curated by Alex Ross. It took a while to get me into part of it because I kept telling them no, because I knew I was going to have a tough time finishing it because they specifically wanted it to be painted, and I don't do painted comics anymore for precisely the reason that all that I ran into, which is it took way too long to finish, and I even did it digitally, which should have helped, but didn't. Although maybe it did help, and if I had done it traditionally, it would have been even worse. And then the pandemic hit, and I ended up having more time anyway. But part of that, well, nothing about the pandemic is good, but the one benefit that it gave me is I made a mistake, continuity mistake, that my daughter picked up when she was reading it. And because publishing was extended, I was able to fix it. So, silver lining, I guess. I don't know. I would much rather have not lost 150,000 people, but I don't want to make light of any of that BS. I also don't want to think about it right now. All right, so that's done. Now I'm going to move on to watercolor. So I'll give you a shot of my palette. It's small, as you can see, but it holds watercolor up top and then gouache down here. Some watercolor over here, colors I don't often use. So I'm just going to spritz it down, and she's pretty easy to paint. If I could find my brush. Alright, I'm just gonna, well, what should I do? I'll do the red first. because it's just the most dramatic. I'm using Holbein watercolors, and the red I'm using, I think it's called Permanent Red. I don't know, I've mentioned it before. And then the brush I'm using is a Rosemary and Company Kolinsky Sable Series 22. And I think Series 22 is designated the designer series. All that means is that it's a little longer, and it's what's usually preferred by illustrators, because traditional watercolor brushes are shorter and they give you a little less control. There's a little less time for the bristles to form a good tip. And so the designer series are always a little bit longer. And that's true for the Winsor & Newton Series 7 as well. Yeah, I think they call it a designer round or something like that. You guys probably can't see. Let me move that down a bit. Okay, is that one last little section, but this is going to be in shadow, but I want to go ahead and define it just so that I know where it's at, and I know I've got where all my red's going. Yeah, I'm looking, I have up on my computer the Joker and Harley painting that Alex Ross did. That still is like, you know, he's done a lot of great stuff, but that piece in particular, man, it's so good. I remember seeing it for the first time. I remember where I bought it. And I think that's that issue was important because it's when they made Harley part of the actual DC universe and not just the animated series. So they wanted a good cover, and man, did they get one. All right, so I'm going to use a little Elizabeth Crimson and Payne's Gray to darken that red. What's this question? Let's see. Yes, that's the vision story that's in Snapshots. It's an 8-pager that I wrote as well. So it'll be my first published work as a writer. Is there any other Marvel character you would love to write and draw a story for? Was Vision your choice? Yeah, Vision was my choice. When I said Vision, I didn't have a story, but I came up with something that I ended up really liking. So I'm pretty happy that I'm happy with the way it turned out. It's weird, like the way that I told it is it kind of takes 2 readings. It's not like super complex, but it takes 2 readings just to see kind of what's happening, which is, that's kind of always been my favorite comics to read are ones that, you read it once and then you read it again and again and again. And that's just the way I've always been with comics. I don't pick stuff up every Wednesday. I kind of wait until a particular story will reach a critical mass of people just saying, oh my goodness, this is phenomenal. And then finally I'll get off my butt and go pick it up. And I'll be like, yep, they were right. And then I'll just end up seeing it over and over again. So a story like that was the Vision miniseries by Tom King and Gabriel H. Walta. If you guys haven't picked it up, do it. It's amazing. And like that is what made me want to do a Vision story. And what I did is very, very different. It's kind of like more Silver Age. I don't know if it's Silver Age story, but it's inspired by the Silver Age, put it that way. But my favorite part about it is that when I pitched it to my editor, Tom Brevoort and Alex Ross, I came up with a new power for vision that he already had, but no one had ever used. And it was so new. I mean, it's super simple, but it was so new that neither one of them understood what I was saying at first. And they said I couldn't do that, and it was because either I hadn't explained well enough, or I didn't get it. But either way, they both had the same reaction. And but then after I explained it further, they were like, "Oh, wait, no, we like it," and then they approved the story. And like all my good ideas, I shower. It really works. I don't know how it works. Maybe it's just that I'm relaxed. I'm not thinking about anything else. Or it could be that no one's bothering me. Oh yeah, but the other question was, what other characters would I like to do? At Marvel, there is a Wolverine story that I would like to write, or at least team up with somebody to write. And well, I don't know if you go in regular Marvel or if it would need to be a Max book, because it's not like, I mean, I'm not like cursing all over the place, but it deals with some pretty serious themes. And but it's totally a Wolverine, like it's the most Wolverine story. And I think I could do it in maybe 22 pages, maybe a one shot. But I've never pitched it, so I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever happen. But if the vision story has a good response, maybe they'll ask me to pitch again. We'll see. But I enjoyed the writing process, and even as new as I was to the whole, because I'd never done anything professionally before. I still ended up making more of my hourly rate because I still take so long just to draw. So it made me want to write more. Just be like, oh yeah, I can write 5 books a month. This is great. I couldn't actually write 5 books a month, but I just thought that was funny because I thought it was gonna take forever, but I think I time myself because I'm pretty diligent just about keeping track of my hours for drawing, and it took me 13 hours, which might be a lot for a writer, but for me, it's kind of like nothing. All right, what color am I gonna paint her face? The problem is my Payne's gray is a little contaminated right now. I'll wipe out. I've got some alizarin crimson in it, and that wouldn't usually be so much of a problem, but on Harley, I don't really want any red in her face. So I gotta clear out that well. And you know what? I think I could also use a new scratch pad. Yeah, my scratch pad is just where I empty out the brush. All right, that took long enough. Looking good, looking good. A little darker. I don't even know if I can see it in real life. But even on the white stuff, like I want to put something on it just to differentiate it from the white of the paper. especially for a vignette like this. And I'll probably do a subtle cast shadow underneath her neck. And usually when I do my commissions, they're like 9x12, but I like doing the 4x6s, and I finally realized why. Like I like drawing small in general, but what I realized today is that like this is the size that I'm comfortable drawing at, because this is how I, the size that I draw comics at. If I'm drawing 11x17 paper, well, the active image size is about 10x15. Most figures don't get any, like a head this size on that paper, like that's a money shot or a splash page. So this is kind of the biggest that comic book heroes get drawn, unless it's like some super crazy, close up. And even when that's the case, it sometimes looks weird. Like especially, I'm thinking of like books from the 90s. If they do a close up and you've got like all this crazy hatching on what is essentially a cartoon, and it looks real weird. Like I like it just for, I think, nostalgic reasons, but looking back on it, it's super weird. So this is kind of like my home position, if you can think of it that way. This is the size at which I like drawing everybody, and any bigger than this, and it starts to feel weird, and that ends up taking longer. So if you do a 9x12 commission, and I'm doing most of the portraits, that's huge. Like I would never draw them that big. I don't know. There's an epiphany I had today. What time is it, by the way? 11:20. Okay, good. This took about as long as I had hoped. These generally take, at the 4x6 size, they take about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Just kind of depends on how well things are going. When I'm doing the chit chat, it takes slightly longer, but no big whoop. Okay. All right, I still haven't done her face. I'm gonna do her eyes first, which is gonna be a real bright phthalo. It's almost like cyan. If I made the sclera reddish, she would look so high. I'm not gonna do that. This crap I think about. I'm gonna take another sip. All right. I'll probably give her some. I just noticed on the one, I've got a screenshot of the series, and they give her a little bit of a smoky eyeshadow. So I'll probably do that too. I mean, one reason I always go to animate, well, Batman the Animated Series in particular, but also animation in general, the character designs are always in animation because they have to be, because it's something you have to draw over and over and over again to an even greater degree than with comics, which, as you know, is a lot of drawing the same character to begin with, but it's taken to an even crazier amount when it's animated. So your drawings, your designs, everything's got to be spot on. And so I'll often use that, and I'll go there for reference, because they know how to boil it down. Just the bare essentials, and that's it. All right, let's do some smoky eyeshadow. I'll make her eyes pop a little bit more. And then I'll do, I guess I need to, I'm trying to figure out if her teeth are colored the same. I don't know. I don't think it matters. But I do need to give her a shadow. Almost done. All right, lights coming from there. Just gonna wing it. I'm not gonna do any reference or anything. And just the subtlest cheek shadow right there. Boom. All we need. Yeah, now she looks a lot happier. She still could be high. Oh, I gotta do the lip. Alright, it's almost black, but it's red. It's gonna take a few passes. Actually, that's not too bad for a first pass. I do still want to see the highlight. Maybe I'm a little bit bluer. Her eyes. Wow, that is electric right there. All right, I think think I might do a few more touch-ups, but I think we're basically done. Any last questions, let me know. But other than that, I think we're gonna wrap this up. You guys can get a better look at it straight on. I'll probably do some acrylic wash around the edges here to clean up that line. I usually put acrylic wash somewhere on everything. All right, last round of questions. So if you have anything for me, feel free, and then we'll wrap up. All right. Really love Alex Ross's Immortal Hulk covers. Yeah, those were amazing. Some of my favorite stuff he's done ever. He did a nice video on it too. His YouTube channel has been great lately. Let's see. Been wanting to hear a good Wolverine story for a while. I might pitch it someday. I don't know what it'd be a part of, but I need to work on the pitch a little bit more first. What I just have 2 characters, including Wolverine. So basically, I have 1 character, and I have the ending, and I have the beginning too. It's all that stuff in the middle I got to work on. Let's see. Oh yeah, the coming soon prints. There are 3 on my online store. I have no idea. It should be within the next month, but I don't know. There are still some that they are selling at Gray Matter Art, but if you'd like me to sign them, it's them directly from me. Sable, yes, the brush I was using was Rosemary and Company. Kolinsky Sable, Series 22, number 6. When is the Vision story coming out? I am told it'll be out in November. So I'm crossing my fingers we don't have any more pandemics or any more disasters. We'll see. Acrylic wash, meaning ink. Oh, the paint is all watercolor. Everything I've been using is watercolor, and the ink was Pentel brush pen, which just uses its own cartridges, which are real easy to use. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining in. I'm going to be doing a lot of these over the next like 10 days. The show's on the 15th. I'm going to be trying to do one a day. I won't live stream all of them, but I'll try and do at least a couple more live streams probably around this time, like 10 to 11 Pacific time. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Everybody have a great night. Stay safe. Wear a mask. Crazy times. Thanks again, guys. Take care.